Hey friends, in this video we're going to be talking about some of Sony's new patents for curved medium format sensor size prime lenses that are going to be incredible. Stick around, I'm really looking forward to talking about this. So there are 5 lenses that Sony has made patents for. There's 387, 323mm, 258mm, 161mm, and 84mm. Now the important thing is that when we're doing these equivalence things, this sensor is going to be on par with like the Pentax 645Z, which is larger than the GFX 50S, the Leica S, the Leica S, the Hasselblad X1D, and myriad others. Those are all smaller than the sensor that these lenses are being described as using. So that's huge. So all of these, except for the 84, are going to be f2.8, and the 84 is going to be f2.9. But in terms of equivalence, when we kind of get over to that, it's going to keep the f1.7 that all of these are going to be in terms of. So going to that, in terms of full frame, it'll be a 240 f1.7, a 200 f1.7, a 160 f1.7, a 100 f1.7, and a 52 f1.7. Now, there's one more really interesting thing about this to me. And that is that they don't require nearly any lens elements by comparison to modern full frame lenses, especially like the Sigma Art lenses that have loads of optical elements in there. So in terms of, I probably have these on the screen, I'll just go down the list. So the first one, the long one, has 4 elements, then the next 2 have 5, and then the next 2 have 6. So these are going to be really lightweight, cheap lenses to make. And they're, as a result, they're going to be a hell of a lot easier to make, which only means good things, right? Because either they can increase their profit, or they can bring the price down and make it a lot more accessible. And also importantly, they're going to be able to make a lot of these so they can saturate this market to bring that price down to really start eating into Canon and Nikon and Panasonic and Fuji if they're really wanting to get into this mirrorless medium format curved sensor market in a very strong way. And they could get there first. So there's a couple of things that I want to kind of talk high level. These are all really fast. They all have really simple designs, and they have those really simple designs, like I said before, because they're working with a curved sensor. And the big thing about this is that these lenses might never actually come into existence, right? But the important thing is that it seems like with all of this, with what we're seeing out of Nikon too, this curved sensor technology it's not about if it'll happen, it's about when it'll happen. Your MTF is going to be out of this world in the corners on these cameras. There's just another thing that's blowing me away. So the 84mm, the 50mm is going to be a really small lens by medium formats standards. It's going to be about 2 centimeters longer than the Zeiss 50mm f1.4 FE mount, which is 7.6 inches long. So the 84mm f2.9 will end up being around like 8.4, 8.5 inches long, which is great. That's fantastic, because those medium format lenses are huge, and especially with the bigger sensors, you need bigger lenses. So, but yeah, going back to it's not if it'll happen, it's when. This is going to be a game where the most innovative companies win, and we're seeing a little bit of that out of Nikon, but we're seeing obviously most of it right now out of Sony. And so what that means is that we know that Sony is the most innovative in the market space. So Sony is going to just take more of the market by storm, and it's going to be incredible. So what does this mean? So you can, but it's probably super duper hard, but these are all prime lenses, and so zoom lenses are going to be really hard to make for a curved sensor, because you have to dial each of those focal lengths in very carefully for the exact point on the sensor where you want that light to hit. So zooms are probably going to be a little bit out of the picture, at least until further down the line. But for now, these primes are going to, you're only going to get primes out of it, right? And so these primes are going to have incredibly sharp corners. They're going to be incredibly sharp in the middle. They're going to be lightweight. They're going to be cheap to make. They're going to be easy to use. And I think it's really interesting because when you look at the way that Sony built out especially their G Master, but in general, the FE lens mount system, they focused on portrait and telephoto length lenses. And they're doing that exact same thing with these. And what that means to me is that they're very serious about it, because they know that that kind of photographer is the one that's going to be buying that system and using it, and then they can fill in the rest later. So they're being very specific about already who they want this camera, this future camera, and these lenses to be, who they want to buy those. They have a definite strategy for where they're going and how they want to do it. And that's really exciting, because that, to me at any rate, means that this is a product that's much closer to market than I think anyone would have thought. So yeah, thank you very much for your time and for your attention. If you want to check out the gear that I use to make this video and all my other videos, check out the links in the description. Those are affiliate links. I'll get a few pennies on the dollar without affecting the cost to you if you choose to go through those. Also check out my Etsy page. That's where I have the LUT packs that I use to make these videos look the way they do. So thank you very much for your time and for your attention. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.